My name is Dan Perell, and I'm a representative for the Bahá'í International Community's United Nations office. We are here at the Global Ethical Stocktake Pavilion at COP30 in Belém, Brazil, where there have been a number of events looking at the ethical dimension of climate change. Yesterday I spoke on a panel, and I was asked to contribute a few thoughts about future generations, and perhaps I'll just share them here. So one of them is this idea of solidarity, that we often think of solidarity as looking at different geographic populations from all over the world. We have to be in solidarity with those who are most vulnerable in different corners of the planet. And that is very important, and I'm glad our sense of solidarity has expanded to that degree. But we also have to understand a temporal dimension of solidarity, and it has to be with future generations and drawing on the wisdom of our ancestors as well. And I think this temporal dimension of solidarity can actually allow us to take decisions that will benefit future generations in ways that perhaps we have not yet conceived. Now here at the pavilion, we see artwork from conversations that took place all over the world, in North America, South America, Asia and the Pacific, Europe, Africa, and Asia itself. In these conversations, we're looking at the ethical dimension of climate change. Things like solidarity, trying to draw on different stores of motivation. How is it that humanity can be motivated to take the kinds of actions necessary to benefit ourselves, the world and the planet, as well as those to come after us? Often we think of stores of motivation as resources. So how can we incentivize people through finance or through other material means? But I think there's something deeper to this. There's something ethical, spiritual even, moral, and values-based that can be a powerful incentivizer for action. When we think about our families, we don't act for the benefit of our children or grandchildren because of a monetary reward, but we do so because we have an ethical commitment, a love-based commitment to them. And bringing that to the climate change space is a conversation that really hasn't taken place before. And so we should be very grateful that at this COP, we have the opportunity to think about a different store of motivation that can help us overcome climate change. I actually hosted a Global Ethical Stocktake with some colleagues in rural Kenya over the course of the summer. And one of the lessons that I learned from that conversation was about the relationship between urgency and freneticism. That often we think of action as urgent, and so we become frenetic in our approach. But if we conceive of urgent action as something that needs a systemic and systematic response, then we can actually take the time necessary to build consensus around what is needed for a community, what answers the community can draw on, what history and understandings they have and can rely upon for the steps necessary to better that community. So urgent action need not be in the next month to 6 months. It may actually be about building consensus over the course of time so that the solutions that we come to are sustainable for generations to come. One example that came up in that context was that trees are being planted in this community in Western Kenya, that there's a commitment not to touch for 20 years. We don't chop them, we don't use the wood from them, and we don't take the fruit from them for 20 years. Why? Because this is meant to be a legacy for those to come after us. And if we chop down that legacy just as soon as we plant it, then it won't benefit those generations to come. So urgent action actually requires long-term thinking and a long-term approach, looking at future generations and our responsibility to them, as well as those who we share the planet with at the moment. So once again, I'm so grateful to COP30 presidency for giving us the opportunity for these types of conversations, and I look forward to continuing them into COP31 and beyond.